Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. How the hell are you? You know, I'm not just asking because it's something I do by rote. I care. So write to me and let me know how you're doing. What are you doing? What is the matter with you? That's really what I want to know. What is the matter with you? Write to us at kpcsfanmail@gmail.com. I actually just started going through all of the emails myself instead of counting on others. And I want to apologize to everyone who cared enough to write and didn't have my eyes on your missives, but they are there now, and I'm going to read a couple today, actually. Melvin! But thank you very much for continuing to write and listen and tell folks about the show. We're coming to you today from the Earwolf Studios. I want to say Earwolf Studios OG because there's new buildings and areas of success that are spreading out far and wide, and these studios may or may not be here much longer. I don't know. Ryan, do you know the future of this particular studio? Nope. That is a need to care basis for Ryan, and we have our answer. Sammy and Jamie are not here. Sam Levine, television Sam Levine, hosted just last week's show, and I was listening to it with the wonderful Tim Meadows on the way in and enjoyed the hell out of it. But it reminded me that my guest prior to that was Selma Blair. So we have three Michiganders. Is that what you call yourselves? Michiganders? Michigan people?
Michiganders? I don't even want to say it. It feels bad.
No, there was no D in my pronunciation. Michiganders.
There needs to be.
Michiganders.
Michigander. Let's Michigan again, shall we?
Yeah. That's my guess, who we'll get to in a moment. The worst. I just said to her right before we went live, now that you're here, I wish we had just had lunch. I really do mean that. All right, so let me get rid of this stuff. Recent guests, as I mentioned, Selma Blair, or did I? Also from Michigan, J.K. Simmons from Detroit. Crazy. And Ricky Gervais, surprisingly, from Michigan. A lot of people don't know that. I'm off in a couple days back to New York for table read of episode 2 of the season 2 of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So happy to tell you guys more and more about that as it unfolds. So maybe Sam Levine will be back next week, although I just found out they have an office, lovely Earwolf in New York. And so I'll be doing some shows with the cast. All right, let's read some of your fan mail because my guest has already fallen asleep. And I don't blame her. This is from Marina Slater. Hi, Mr. Pollak. Those of you writing in, stop making me look over my shoulder for the dead ghost of my father. I am convinced I walked past you and I recognized your face from somewhere and then found out who you were after an online search. No commas in any of that. Have you been to the Isle of Skye, Skye? I spell it because not only have I not been there, I didn't know it existed. If you haven't, then you have a twin. Thank you for your time. All right, Marina, let's break down your letter other than the lack of commas. Let's go back to the top. I am convinced I walked past you and I recognized your face from somewhere. Marina, no one with alleged fame wants to hear those words, ever. And then it goes on. And then I found out who you were after searching online. So Marina, to my knowledge, there is yet a device, although I've been begging for it, that you can just input your memory of someone's face and it tells you who they are on Google. How did you do that? How did you do an online search because you thought you recognized me? Oh, my. I need more information, Marina, is really what I'm getting at, and thank you for writing.
Yeah, that's really what you need. More information about that.
Yeah. Here is another wonderful letter, and I can't thank you enough, Jay Lehman, for phonetically spelling your name. It's Lehman, but he went ahead and put Lee-Man, thinking he was writing to a chimp. Kevin, great fan of you and the show, but what the fuck? All these episodes that are audio only, what the fuck? These are all in all caps, as if I think he thinks he's writing to Mark Maron. Sure, I have a new smartphone, which I will download some episodes to listen to on the phone. But again, all caps, what the fuck? Audio only are how the episodes have been lately, like the last half dozen. Yet again, what the fuck? Still a fan, always will be, but you guessed it, what the fuck? Jay Lehman, Tucson, Arizona. First of all, what the fuck on Tucson? All right? That's how you cocksuckers spell it, so just say it that way. It isn't Tucson, it's Tucson. Give me another example where the C comes in front of the S. I'll wait here. Well, what the fuck? Thank you for listening, Jay Lehman. And I'm glad you wrote in, and the reason I printed out your letter and am reading it now to the rest of the listeners is because you're patient zero, Jay Lehman. You're the reason I stopped doing video and am now doing audio. It's you, Jay, and I know where you live. I'm coming for you. Thank you. That's from Jay Lehman from Tucson, Arizona. I have a couple more, but I have to read this one because it just ripped my heart into pieces. Good morning. My fire company, the Sumpwams Hose Company of Babylon Village Volunteer Fire Department, is having a comedy show for our 218 annual fundraiser and was interested to know if Kevin would be able to make a donation to our event. As part of the show, we are having a raffle for our guests and would be honored to raffle off an autograph item or paraphernalia from him. Anything you can do would be greatly appreciated. If you need any additional information, please let me know. I have attached the official letter we are using for the event. The comedy show will be held on Saturday, November 17th, 2018 at Babylon Fire Department headquarters in Babylon Village, New York. You can mail your donation to the following address, Babylon Fire Department. Attention, Sumpwams Hose Company, 153 West Main Street, Babylon, New York, 11702. Thank you, Joe, badge number 342. Joe, I'm excited about this, really because you asked for a donation of anything, autographed item or paraphernalia. Turns out I'm old enough to have lived through the time when you had to smoke like 8 or 9 joints to get stoned. It was an event. You gathered people. You used a double album to roll the joint so the seeds would roll to the middle. None of this one hit and your head spins off like a dreidel. You had to smoke a lot. So yes, I do have lots of paraphernalia from those days, and I'm excited to send it to you. But I wanted to read all that information in case any listeners wanted to make a donation. I'll be sending an autographed copy of a script from the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Maybe there's some people in Babylon Village who give a shit. But thank you, Joe, badge number 342. My guest today that I wish I was rather having lunch with, Mary Lynn Rajskub.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
You've been doodling on the desk. It's an exciting desk.
I'm doodling on the desk. I poured some of this cold brew coffee.
Yeah.
I can already feel it rocketing up my spine and into my jaw.
Yeah, the jaw area is where it settles. I forgot to mention that it targets the jaw.
Should probably stop drinking coffee altogether.
Well, stop drinking that. For
right
sure.
now?
For sure.
Right now.
Well, if you're commenting, I feel like as a friend.
I enjoy it, though.
Okay.
That's the rub.
Where should I jump in again if you grind your teeth?
Yeah.
Okay. Until then, you're on your own. I am a coffee generation person. Every time I read yet another article about it's good for me, it's bad for me, I have the same reaction. I don't care. Yeah.
Mark Maron, lately, I saw him at the Comedy Store, and he's getting so good at talking about regular, mundane things, but with his brain of the world of Mark. And I've just been enjoying the hell out of it. He had a bit about having to stop drinking coffee because it made him angry, but he didn't realize he would just know when his girlfriend was in tears that something was happening. But it's a whole bit of just laying out this really simple thing. And every morning I think of Mark, who only drinks tea, and managed to stop the tears of his girlfriend by not drinking coffee.
Well, if I may.
Please do.
I love and can't get enough of the Mark Maron myself. Big fan, long time. He's been on the show a couple times.
I feel a but coming.
No, there's no but. And in fact, I'm excited that he's delving down into the minutia of our lives with his fucked up perspective.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I am overly, if not inexplicably, fond of minutia in general.
I am too.
Yeah.
He has another one about, which seems like a really basic premise, but the way he does it and the way he beats it out. I didn't mean it like that. Come on.
Wow. I hadn't even gone there. Ryan?
I'm sorry.
No.
Yes.
I am just going to play this for your son.
I'm not drinking any more of that coffee. About a message machine, the tape.
The old days?
Yeah, but he really
Elaborate.
elaborates.
Sure.
Thank you for
I'm
that
here
word.
for you.
Thank you.
It's-
About just having a whole day of just the thoughts in your head and not knowing who's calling you.
Right.
And coming home and listening to the tape. But
Yeah.
it's great.
I find that after doing this for 9 years, what I just did for you by filling in the word elaborate,
Yes.
I do too often for Jamie in normal life. And it becomes a game show of a conversation. She'll be telling a story, and she'll pause, searching for a word. I'll jump in with what I think is the word and see
And she punches you in the face.
the look in her eyes of wanting to set me on fire. Yeah. I just realized it as I did it with you that, oh no, that's minutia in my life that I need to talk about.
Well, we are a hot on-screen couple.
Yes, we are. Now that
So I'm glad you have that inclination towards me. And I was going to say it was adorable until I realized that you were going to a place where maybe she doesn't want you to do that and wants to.
But
set
I'd
you on
probably
fire.
do it everywhere, not just with her. It's become a game show.
Yes.
Like I'm a contestant and I don't have a buzzer in my hand.
Look, you're a quick thinker, and you got a lot of words up there that most people don't have. It must be frustrating.
But I feel like it is sending out a message, which is pick it up.
yeah,
Let's go.
It's like when
Let's
I
go
did
with your
the
little story.
Celebrity Pro-Am race, and I was a race car driver for. I like, by the way, that's your me sitting here. You're like, could you pick it up and have some ideas, have some things to talk about,
Or at least words.
But I did that.
Pro-Am racing.
Thank you. And I had a little private sesh with the driver.
Yep.
Oh, maybe it was just a private conversation. But he said
It felt
he
like
was
it.
talking about his love for driving, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" I imagined him on regular streets. I said that must drive you insane
In Los
because you're
Angeles.
waiting.
Yeah.
And you just want to drive around and you just want to drive your car.
Because I have those feelings.
Yes,
so if I was
when
a
you speak.
professional driver.
The words in your head.
No,
and
when I'm
with
in
driving.
my car. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It turns out I'm just impatient. It's got nothing to do with this show or my relationships. I'm just impatient. What is that about?
You just made me think of my son yesterday. He was enraged, and I said, "Go in your room, and when you're calm, we can talk," which just makes it worse, right? So he's standing there like throwing pillows, and he's like, "I'm ready to talk, Mom. I'm getting impatient," but he's trying to act like he's chill, and he's so not. And then I have to very calmly say, let's give it a couple more minutes. And he's a maniac. He'll go into deep sarcasm when he's enraged too. And it's like when you see that mirror, he's like, oh, really? A couple more minutes, Mom? Okay, good idea, Mom. Like he just takes it.
Where'd you get that from?
Exactly. It's stunning when you see.
Should we tell folks that he's 27?
He is 27 years old.
Is he even
He's
7?
throwing pillows and grabbing the cat's tail at 27. He's 9.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's 9 going on 15. This guy.
9. And he's giving you sarcasm.
Oh,
All the
deep
time.
sarcasm.
Well,
The sarcasm when have you ever been in like a big fight and you use a cold, icy sarcasm?
oh, sure.
He was pulling that out. I was like, oh no, this is.
He talks to you in a way that you would never accept from a mate, it sounds like.
Yes. I've done it myself in fights.
Well-
I want to say that I wouldn't accept it, but I must have modeled that for him, which is
Thank you for owning
sad.
that. It's not sad.
And
It's real.
it's real. But now being faced with that, and then
Right.
he'll switch, it'll be like this manipulative, like, do you even care about me?
No.
It's like, oh my God.
Well, he definitely gets that from you.
And I have to breathe and try to sift through it and do like a very therapeutic, I hear you're angry right now, no matter what he's throwing at me. And he'll just switch from, sometimes when he'll be in his room, he'll come out and go, well, I just want a hug. And it's like, no, you're in your room, like chill out. It's very interesting.
And he's too young to even know what sarcasm is, the word sarcasm.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah. Well, he certainly knows how to deliver it.
I know what you're saying, like to really know.
Yeah, because I remember I was asked, if you have any similar story, please share it. I was asked to do some kind of stand-up for like junior high as a whatever. And it's not a part of their vernacular, sarcasm.
Yes.
So, I didn't realize there were certain routines that had a great understanding of what sarcasm is in order to pay off the bit. And so the bit would just lie there like a turd in the middle of a coffee table. And
people really thought that's what you meant and what you were talking about.
They took me literal, yes, when I said I wanted to kill the president. No, that wasn't the bit. But I'm just trying to think of something dark.
My son, I can't think of the exact thing. God, I wish I would write these down. My son had a bit that was similar to that, where he said he was going to kill me or kill someone, and I just stopped and I went, okay, why are you saying that?
Yeah.
And he goes, it's a joke, Mom. It's a joke. And I said, okay, you have to work on your delivery.
Let's do that now.
You have to work on your audience.
Let's do that now. Also, your mic work. Not crazy about that at all. Use the stand. Don't be afraid of the stand.
Walk around it.
Walk around it.
Lean on it.
Feel it.
Make it your friend.
Right.
Rub up against it like a cat.
Make people just with your ass. Make people think it isn't there. It's an extension of you. Mm-hmm.
I went the route of put it behind you, like you're in front of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard of these various techniques? Every now and then someone will talk about a technique and I'll just stop and think, so I'm the asshole for not having any technique at all, that I just go out.
Every once in a while I'll see someone do this with the cord of the mic. Mm-hmm. They're going to do like a fold underneath and hold it with their hand.
They create a loop in their hand?
Yes, the loop.
Like they're Wayne Newton. You see a comic do that?
Yes.
Oh, man. I do I don't know if I did it the only night I believe you came and saw me do stand-up. I don't know if I did it that night. But if a mic stand has a round base, I will lean the mic stand forward towards me from the top and then give a little kick towards the bottom, and it will roll away from me, and then I release.
That's called mic technique, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I have mic technique.
Roll and release.
Roll and release.
The old Pollock roll and release.
Yeah, also the name of my fourth book. We need to talk a little bit about Michigan because I wouldn't shut up about it at the beginning. Do you remember any of it?
Michiganing. Let's get back to the Michiganing.
Yeah. Let's take a little coffee sip first so we can make it through this thought. I should tell people one of the reasons that I'm going to suggest we're a little giddy is that we've not seen each other since we worked on this.
God.
Oh, no, you did. You came and saw me perform. Was that after we did the movie or during? I don't know.
It was after.
Okay.
But it still is.
Yes.
We still need to. Well, actually, I haven't seen you since the premiere of it.
Yes. So you attended.
So I have a whole other.
You attended the premiere.
Yes.
Of a film called Benjamin that was directed by the wonderful Bob Saget, adored by the world, the entire planet. And you and I played...
lovers.
Secret
lovers.
Secret. But someone... one of the folks that works in the business management firm. Imagine working in a business management firm and you handle Bob Saget's money, but then also mine. How disappointing mine must be. Or as Bill Maher once said to me 30 years ago with no irony, you know, Kevin, if you had my money, you'd set yours on fire. So I might have digressed.
I just pictured the physicalization of the little pile.
Gathering
and
the little Pollock
the
money.
room full of money and the little...
What if he poked out from his room full of money and handed me a little pouch of my money?
through a glory hole.
Always. I always want my money through a glory hole.
Me too. Hashtag.
So yeah.
Why?
Well, we're going to talk about that too.
You know, it keeps you real, knowing knowing that there's a finite amount of money. It makes you a deeper person.
Yeah, every now and then I'll get into
Be less comfortable.
Yes. It does keep you real.
Yes.
And that's
what were you saying? Sorry.
And that's what we want.
Don't you hate when bitches interrupt you?
Well, bitches in particularly.
Yeah.
Me also. That's the new slogan I'm working with.
And me.
Yeah.
Really rolls off the tongue.
Imagine putting out buttons
And
that
also
said
me.
him too. Could you imagine getting that past the censors? Yeah, no, it keeps you humble. I've had it with the humble.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Our new hashtag.
It really
Me too.
is. Let's do it. Let's jump into the premiere. So I'm going
Yes.
to make a note to come back to me too, because I really do want to talk about that. For Funskis. So, how many of our cast made it to the premiere? I was in the Canada. So it's you, Sherry O'Terry, Dave Foley.
Thanks for doing the work for me.
I'm just going down the cast that I
David
remember.
Hull.
The wonderful David Hull. What a surprise this guy is.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Everyone
Perry
fell in love with
Gilpin was
him.
there.
Perry Gilpin, to Block, Peter.
The actor who played her boyfriend
Nicely done.
was there.
Sure. He's a wrestler.
Darn it.
He's a professional wrestler. Did he come in all leather?
Oh, he
Top
really
to bottom?
did it up.
Yeah.
He had, I want to say, scarves and patterns and maybe a hat and sunglasses.
Well, you have to commit.
Yes.
Otherwise, you don't get my respect.
Thank you.
And
I wore a hot pink dress.
did you?
Yeah. It's one of two dresses I own. One is red, one is pink.
I think
They're both shells, and I put it on and made it happen, you know? I brought it there.
And what did your son say when you told him you were going to the premiere of a movie Mommy's in? Does he register?
Well, I wanted to make sure that he knew I made love to another man
Sure.
in the movie. Then get his thoughts on it.
Right.
No, nothing. He was just pumped. He likes his babysitter because she plays the same video game as him. Oh. So he's just excited that she's there and he gets pizza. So
It's a little vacation.
it's a little vacation.
Good.
And
So-
you know, when I dress up like that, it's just you look kind of weird, and that's about it. You look weird, Mommy.
You know, I had this thing with
Used to
what
you in your sweatpants.
Jamie calls Sexy Marge from The Simpsons. I cannot look at the screen when Sexy Marge comes on.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's the mom. It's the
Yeah.
matriarch. So I appreciate and empathize.
Although on the other end of the spectrum, yesterday we were going to Menchie's frozen yogurt because I was trying to keep him off the iPad, and he said, "Can we go get frozen yogurt?" Just got to keep him busy. Swiveling.
You
What are
thought
doing? You're a
sugar was the
boxer.
answer.
Yeah, exactly. It was a terrible choice, but we were together.
Sure.
And they had a fire pit. They have a fire pit outside Menchie's. I know, but guess what? It wasn't on. Did I demand it? They put it on? No, I didn't. Because I like to suffer.
That's not what people
Did
from
I eat
Michigan.
a whole frozen yogurt with toppings? Do you want to hear my toppings?
I do.
Waffle crunchies. I really went for it. Usually I'll just take a couple samples, but then, when your son's getting it and it's just he and I don't want to seem like a dick. I'm like, we're here together. We're both getting frozen yogurt.
What are crunchies?
So I went for it. It's like waffle cones broken up into pieces. So you put that on the cake-flavored yogurt.
Sure.
Then I had a sprinkling of peanuts. Then I had
Genius.
just ever so slightly, maybe a half a spoon of Reese's peanut butter cup.
You don't want to overdo those. They can overpower the whole thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. No fire pit.
Nope.
So we didn't hang out outside. We got right back into the car. Went
Great
right
place.
home.
Great place to eat frozen
Ate
yogurt.
it between my legs.
Yeah, you did. Always fun for the fans.
Where was I going with this? I got so sidetracked by the excitement for the yogurt. The shirt I put on was not unlike this one. It's larger and it's got a red and gray plaid, and I put it on. I thought this is my cute shirt.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Mom, you can't wear that." He's calling me on. I said, I said, "Does it look like pajamas?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, this is supposed to be my cute shirt. Darn it."
Well, but why was that already in your head, loaded in the chamber, as it were, that it looked like pajamas?
Because it's a soft fabric and it's a little bit larger of a shirt. See, this is like a loose shirt, But this is one of my more fitted shirts. So picture it larger
Loose,
than this.
yet
A man-style shirt.
Yes.
With a collar, button up,
That looks like a pajama top.
which is super comfortable. And in my mind, super cute, but turns out not so much.
Well, not to a 9-year-old.
I don't know what this is.
Right.
No, that makes sense. A super...
Yes.
premiere.
The self-editor.
Or back to the premiere.
Yeah. So, of course, a red carpet. And let me, can I take a stab at the sort of press that were in line?
Please do.
Okay. The first one had their iPhone
Very
instead of a
close.
camera.
One of them was an iPad on a tripod.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
None of them were outlets that you recognized?
Yeah, they have the square signifier on the microphone. One of them was like channel Y2K or things that you're trying to make sense of.
Oh, Y2K, I miss it.
Oh,
so.
and there was a lot of this happened 2 to 3 times where they say, I've never had it to quite this level before, where they go, and you looking gorgeous tonight, and you are.
No.
Hi, my name's Mary Lynn Rajskub. Still blank look on their face, and I'm in the movie. This is a movie premiere we're at. It's called Benjamin, where you're just supplying the most basic of stats.
Yeah.
They didn't have the extra 4 minutes to go over or even refer to a sheet,
Right.
with people's names on it. Did not even have that.
Right. Yeah. I want to fire whose ever idea it was to have those people there.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
But it was at the Man's Chinese Theater, which was exciting.
And exciting until you see that press line. And then the excitement diminishes. But John Stamos was there.
Yes. John Mayer was
John
there.
Mayer.
Bill Burr was there.
Bill Burr.
Dr. Drew was there.
Who's in the film.
Who is in the film.
Dr. Drew.
Yes. He had his Instagram of those guys on some back porch, and I was there with my husband. I'm like, Matt, we...
I've seen more
I don't know if
Matt.
we got there too... Yeah, more than you've seen me.
We've not.
But I did not find the cool kids patio.
Oh.
Just went straight. Just found a couple of locked doors and then made it to where the movie was. Made it in there.
Was it the main man's theater?
No.
No, of course not.
No.
Don't be silly. I don't even know why I asked that, because it was either a very cryptic, or bad news. It was sad that it was in an offshoot.
Well, it was the prestigious Beverly Hills Film Festival.
Yeah, that was the other thing. The film did premiere at the Beverly Hills Film Festival, which is, I believe,
I don't mean to brag.
it's the sister festival to Cannes.
That's right.
I don't know if you're aware of that. So, how many people did this theater hold? Would you roughly say?
I'm really drinking it up. It's so loud. I'm gonna go 200.
You're gonna take a stab at 200.
150.
178. Not bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I didn't know I was being tested.
Well,
You're such a great teacher. You just throw the test and then you tell if they passed or failed, and they don't even know they're taking a
It's
test.
not a
I don't know if that's
competition.
wonderful or terrible.
it really isn't a competition, like the San Francisco Art Institute must have been.
Oh, hello. Segway City.
Were you a scamp as a kid? I see you as a troublemaker, a little bit.
Oh, I wish.
No?
There was the brief 1.5 months when I tried to be a break dancer. That didn't go very far.
You tried because you'd seen others do it and thought,
Oh, yeah.
I could do
Got
that.
a piece of cardboard in the garage.
how tough could this be?
But I also was alone,
Sure.
So, when you don't have your crew, it's hard to pop and lock. Really, with much gusto, it peters out pretty fast. And then there's
no
it's
one-
hard to supply your own music.
It is.
When you go to the beat of your own drummer. You're the
Nicely.
drum and the drummer.
Yeah, that's not fair.
No.
That only lasted a month and a half, you say?
Yeah.
The research said
I
it was 3 months.
was very quiet, kept to myself, kept it all inside.
Siblings
2 older sisters.
who, like Cinderella, were not fans of you.
I wouldn't say they're...
Was there a gap?
No, they're fans. There's a large gap.
Jamie
Yes.
has the same.
Really?
10 and 15 years older.
Oh, wow. Mine are 7 and 8 years older.
So like you were an experiment for them.
Yes. Although my mother insists, no, we wanted you very badly. I remember my sisters in marching band, when I was young, and they were in high school marching
Right.
band, color guard with the flags.
What's happening? Is that my future?
Yes, exactly.
I'll be damned
exactly.
if it is. Right?
Yes. So in that sense, I was a scamp. No, thank you.
Okay, you're good.
I've lubricated
You packing?
earlier. Yeah.
All right. So you weren't harassed about. So how does the art world catch your attention?
I got to the end of high school, and 2 of my good friends had gotten into very good colleges, and that was like a sudden newsflash to
That
me.
crept up on you.
Crept up on me.
College.
I didn't know. No one told me to prep for this.
Parents were not involved.
Not involved.
No, mine neither.
One of my friends, I'm going to U of M. I'm going wherever she went. And I think they were both going to U of M. And I thought, oh. But then really didn't want to go.
Were the SATs a part of your experience?
I did them. I did poorly.
I don't remember. I assume I took them, but I have no memory of taking them or what their results were.
Is this part of becoming a performer?
I think, yes. I think it is. I think it is.
Because you effed up
Yeah,
what you're supposed to be doing.
right. And thankfully or not, there wasn't a guiding hand
Yes,
saying,
same.
do it this way. Have Menchie's instead of your iPad. Even that would have been helpful.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Anger rather than silence.
Right.
Is better. A step up.
Yeah.
What was I going to
So
say?
you-
So I didn't want to. I actually didn't want to go to college and
Right.
just have a repeat of high school, which I
Right.
wasn't a huge fan of. But I also did not want to go get some dumb job right out of the
No.
gate. So I
Saw Bob
did
Ross.
some sketches and went to kind of took it upon myself to research and go to their, I was going to say open mic,
Sure.
their call for submissions for a scholarship. And I got a partial scholarship to an art college in Detroit.
Had you doodled it at all?
A bit.
Growing up?
A bit.
Because to me, drawing is such a specific thing that there's an extension of your arm and your brain, and it's either flowing and easy or it is not, which is my case.
Really?
Like I can draw a couple of things, and I have been drawing the exact same couple of things my entire life. But yeah, I'm going to mention Jamie yet again. 826 LA, this wonderful after-school program where they bus kids after school, and they learn creative writing, and they make up a story.
Ooh.
And so Jamie or someone is there illustrating the story, and then they print it out, and they hand the kids a book at the end of the session, a story they created. And so she can draw and doodle all these things.
See, I am not that.
No.
I
You're a brush.
Yes. I mean, I drew and I can sketch barely. Enough to get a scholarship. I did some shading, and I guess I learned it from high school. And I did a watercolor class in a strip mall with some senior citizen ladies.
But you made that up
I made that up.
as a career path.
Yes.
I'm going to do this.
Yes.
I don't want a shitty job.
Yes.
I don't want to go to college, which is high school with ashtrays.
Yes.
And so I'm going to draw
Yes.
and paint.
Yes.
And you submitted, and they said, you're welcome.
Yes.
Come on in.
That's exactly right. You're making me feel really good about that path.
I like it.
And I loved it. I loved
It's creative.
art school. I wasn't validated actually until later when I met comedians, and I was like, oh, these are my people until probably 6 or 7 years after college. But it opened up my eyes to even the possibility of being an artist. I still didn't think I could do it, but the fact that, I had a teacher who kind of walked us around and said, see that? An artist designed that. Like real fundamental basic things that I didn't ever think about. So
Did you quickly develop favorites?
Favorite artists?
Mm-hmm.
I like expressionism and the abstract expressionism. I like your Basquiat and Robert Rauschenberg, Jasper Johns, Pollock, that type.
I'm a fan of the Dali.
Oh,
Yeah. I enjoy the Dali.
you would.
Yeah. Really
so,
just his mustache, not
heady.
his work.
Yes. You want to touch it, but you can't.
That's right. I can't. I own it.
I do like Dali, but I would say for my pure love, I prefer. Do you know the artist Soutine, who's a Russian? I want to say he was not a prisoner of war, but he was very oppressed and working class. I don't remember his story, but he
So not really a fan.
kind of was emotionally disturbed and would paint so that you see the emotions in the person. Like he would paint people's portraits, but when you look at their portraits, you could see their particular insanity. Or was it his own that was making them look that way? Or was he enhancing a characteristic that he saw in them?
What is his name?
Soutine, Chaim Soutine.
Wow.
And I had a teacher in college who was this, I didn't realize it until after because I was so innocent. He was like this closeted gay man who was so polite and would have a crisp shirt and was always going for smoke breaks, but then covering it up with Altoids, and was a beautiful watercolorist, like lots of layers. And he had these old marionettes and like feather boas and all these objects in his home, which we got to. He took some of his favorite students in this home that was surrounded with all these objects because he would always bring in stuff for still life. And he had all this crap in his house, but he was, that was his way to express himself, was in his paintings. But in his real life, he was very closed off and private. And
Until outed here on this show.
You're welcome, Richard. But he told me about Soutine, and I don't remember where the guy's from or what happened to him, but I do remember that he used real blood to pour on a bloody piece of meat that he was painting so he could get the redness. Correct. But it's this type of stuff.
That's right.
When you grow up in a not very artistic, imaginative place, and then you learn about this.
Mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Someone's commitment to their painting, even though it's insane and disgusting.
Yeah, my very narrow awareness and knowledge of great artists and painters is that they're all nuts.
Yes. There's this other guy named Dubuffet. You might recognize if you saw in a museum, big, messy, childlike, but it's like, here's a street in the city, but it's just, there's no perspective and everything piles on top of each other, and it's like cartoonishly drawing people, but you get the feeling of the place and the energy. Yeah.
I remember my first Dubuffet in New Orleans.
What a night.
Oh, baby.
Hurt at first, but then felt so good.
You shot New Orleans, I'm assuming?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, with Brad Pitt, I forgot. We shot
What's it
Moneyball
like in there? What's it like in there?
In New Orleans?
No.
In my head?
Yep.
Oh.
That you forgot that
I'm
you were in a
making that
movie
up.
with Brad Pitt.
I'm making that up.
Okay. Did it shoot anywhere near New Orleans? Or you were not in Moneyball?
No, I was not in it.
That's genius.
I wish I could have just gone with it.
I've seen the film. I should have known.
And I have not seen the film, but it's the only thing that came to me. And I'm sure it's probably not even shot in New Orleans.
I only asked because Rob Corddry, our co-star in the film that you saw at the premiere that Bob Saget directed, called Benjamin, turned me on when I was shooting in New Orleans. He had just been there, and he told me about a nighttime tour guide named Jonathan the Pirate. I think it was Jonathan the Pirate, or we just added the Pirate, because he committed to the outfit and had such an attitude that it was spectacular. And you go on a nighttime tour and you see all the spots of death around town, like haunting, horrible, hideous things that people are now devoting podcasts to because they're so detailed. And Jonathan with the hair and the amulet, and he would finish at one location, sort of turn his head, and his hair would flow and flip, and he would say, "This way," and walk away from you. And initially, I went with a few cast members. You couldn't help but sort of mock and make, but 6 minutes in, you're hanging on every syllable.
Oh, wow.
He gets you. Yeah, and you're absolutely incapable of making fun of what's happening. You're in it. So if you ever go, I'll remind you.
I want to go right now.
Yeah, right? Speaking of going, how does the Go West young woman come up to transfer to San Francisco Art Institute?
I was at that art school in Detroit, and a friend of mine who had a turquoise mohawk, and I thought she was going to tell me one day that she had cancer because she was like, I have something to tell you. I'm bisexual.
And we need to get busy?
Well,
Okay.
Not really. That was just the announcement, but she did. She was the one who.
She did also eventually get cancer.
Oh,
Just horrible.
She went to San Francisco for a semester. It was like a sister school program, and I found out she was doing that, and I said, I have got to do that, and I was just compelled. I had no money, no reason. But something inside of me was like, get out of here, go. And I went there, and I never came back.
Literally never went back.
To Michigan. No, I go back.
Yeah, of course. Is it, I always assumed that it was there that you tripped over the notion of doing stand-up comedy or being
In
funny.
San Francisco? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And what year was this?
This was 93, 94.
So we're talking Paul F. Tompkins?
Yes. In San Francisco, I met, I probably didn't meet him until later, Patton Oswalt, Greg Barrett, Blaine Capatch, Ron Lynch, Jeremy Kramer. Do you know him?
Of course.
So Jeremy and I hung out a lot in San Francisco.
He was
and
the greatest.
The rest of the guys were kind of coming through, and I hung out with them later in LA. But I was in San Francisco for 2.5 years, finishing up art school, doing performance art. And then I started, it was a combo. I was doing performance art. People were laughing at me. I didn't know why they were laughing. And then I started making fun of performance art. But I also was seeing these comedians at the time because the comedy clubs were closing, and I just loved going to open mic nights. That was like my favorite thing to do. Anything that involved someone standing on stage alone, monologuing. But yes, I wasn't directly drawn to stand-up. To me, had nothing to do with me. It was like stand-up was like men going, here's my thoughts. And so my entry into it was open mics where you could say anything, and it was more poetry. And a lot of it was terrible, but
Truly.
I loved being in the city. I loved seeing different types of people. I loved the person on stage and what they think they're saying versus what they're actually saying, and what they've written versus how it's coming across. Like that whole combo was just fascinating to me. But it was in those rooms that I started seeing people. Like Patton was someone that I remember, and I really didn't meet him officially until later. But I remember him sort of coming through, and, for a comic, they're doing things that they couldn't do in the club, but they're immediately much more polished, know their own voice, know their delivery.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's something. And that's, what kind of was tipping me to the attraction to actually having a facility for knowing what you're saying and doing on stage. Because mine would be, scraps of commercials and inner monologue. And sometimes I would literally read off of scraps of paper, and that would be my set. Like read them randomly and perform them with different intentions, in the moment.
But you created like your path into painting.
Yes.
It sounds anyways, like you created your own voice by first being a fan of what the hell it was going on up there, and then figuring out a way to personalize it.
Yes.
And that's amazing. That really is amazing. Because most people I talk to about this that had this path, that isn't the path. The path is, I knew I wanted to be when I was 12.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You can't even fathom such a thing.
No.
And studied comedy albums and yeah.
No. I feel like a jerk for not doing that.
Or breath of fresh air.
Or you decide.
So I have to jump to a couple of specifics. I hope you don't mind because I am genuinely curious what it was like. Actually, I wrote down, what the hell does this mean? In 2006, Harrison Ford presented you with the Female Breakthrough Award for her concept comedic stage productions as well as her TV and film acting skills.
Whoa. Who wrote that?
What the fuck is happening?
I don't know. I'd like to find out who wrote that. I don't know what that means.
Did it happen?
It happened. I think this is something that really happened and I don't quite remember. I remember the Harrison Ford part of it. I was in a movie called Firewall.
That's correct.
Playing his assistant, which, by the way, every good idea that my character had, he somehow, in his Harrison Ford way, was like,
yeah, we're not doing that.
I should probably be the one to have all the ideas or anything pertinent to the plot line, or so I don't get to have any. I'm supposed to be helping him find the thing and the missing the urgency of the. So
that
I did
was
that.
fun.
That was super fun. He is delightful
When he's not taking your
hilarious.
dialogue?
Exactly. But, I like to put myself in a position of like, of course you're supposed to take my dialogue. So that makes life easy for me because I'm just like, take it from me. I'm a piece of shit,
Sure.
So that makes it fun.
Right. That's right.
Why would I fight?
Nope.
Go with the river.
Yeah. There's nothing exceptional about fighting.
And I will say, this is the first and only time in my life, like, let's say I was his assistant. He's like, Janet, you have the key to the thing. Come with me. We're on the wild goose chase. You like how I remember the plot of the movie so well as well. So we were in a car together, and he's driving. I'm in the passenger. It's raining. Of course, he's driving.
As a man?
Yes. And as soon as the #MeToo car would turn and it got far enough, he knew precisely the point that the camera couldn't quite see us, and he would stop it and get out, and the double would come in. And because I was in the same shot, got to leave too. And those are usually the things that you are there for an extra 4 hours because they see the end of your knuckle.
That's
like,
right.
yeah, no, you need my real body for this. And he just instinctively was like, you can't see me.
Yeah.
Now.
It's one of my absolute favorite things about maybe all of show business, but certainly acting and film, is the game of what can I get out of doing? I can't wait to be employed now that I am.
Yes.
How can I not do this? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just came back yesterday, and I was only 6 shooting days. I had a wonderful time.
That's a lot. Ooh, I'm taxed just thinking about it.
I need to lie down. I mean, it makes sense if you're going into a job and that's 6 days that you would immediately start figuring out ways to not work.
Yes.
But first thing I do is study those call sheets and that shooting schedule. And it's like, you don't need me in the first 2 shots, right? The first 2 scenes?
That's so smart.
Yeah. I notice I'm in the first scene and then not working into the 4th scene. I looked over and they're all in the same location. They're all in very similar setups. You could probably flip that, and then I'm not here first thing in the morning and I can come in.
Ooh. So nice.
Yeah. And then if it's always, I think, I'd like to believe, it's always an opportunity for one of the following things to take place. For the second AD, whose job it is to look after the schedule, to push back and say, hey, actor fuck, I have 7,500 more pieces to this puzzle than you and your needs.
F off.
And you need to settle the fuck down. Or it's their opportunity to impress me with how easily, because again, I'm not going into this with, do this, fucker. I'm not going into it with.
Yeah, what's your attitude?
My attitude is, I've done some research.
If I ever work again.
I've done research on the schedule. I've actually put in the time putting myself in your position to make the schedule. And it seems to me that I'm not affecting anything by switching these 2 scenes. If I am, let me know, And
so would you say half the time, half and half? They say no and yes to it.
It's helpful if you're working in Canada. If you want the second AD to be super excited about making it work for you,
Because Canadians are nice.
yeah, oh my goodness, it's unbelievable.
So chill. And
Yeah,
humane.
I mean, the original joke I heard about how nice people are in Canada is, how do you get 1,500 people out of the swimming pool in Canada? You say, please get out of the swimming pool. So I'm flying back from Sudbury, Ontario, 4 hours drive from Toronto, and I got to take a little plane from there to Toronto, and then Toronto to LA. The little plane from Sudbury is a propeller, you betcha. And I have the rolling bag. I'm on a 9-day trip, by the way.
Okay,
And
take it easy.
It's all
you need 5 suitcases. I know how you roll.
It's all in one rolling carry-on.
Oh, okay.
9 days. A little too impressed with myself, only because people said, that's it? So I say to the person checking in, can I get this in the overhead or should I check it? No, you can get that in the overhead. Get on the plane. Yes, sir, that's not going to go in the overhead. The woman from Canada sitting behind me said, that will fit under my seat in front of me if you'd like to put it there. Oh. And I thought,
unreal.
is this the 40s? What happened? Who's this? So, yes, unreal. I know those people exist in America. They just avoid me, clearly, for some reason. So this particular AD did really love, it wasn't even a challenge, it was, and it was almost like a tip of the hat. Hey, way to do the research of what I do. Way to care about me. And instead of just making actor demands.
Well, who's making those calls to separate it in the first place?
The order of shots?
Yeah.
The second AD talks it over with the first AD in terms of what the next day's work is and what they want to accomplish. And then they have their own algorithm. And if
they're not looking at it from your...
No, they try to accommodate as they go through. You sense that. Lumping actors together who have certain scenes, and they don't like actors sitting around for 8 hours waiting. Anywho, so I love that Harrison Ford pulled over the moment he knew he was off camera and said,
so good.
I'm not going to drive anymore. Yeah, that's really great. So he gives you this award, but
I think that was
2006
a magazine that I can't remember.
But would this be
that had like a made-up award? It was a little bit after that movie.
Okay.
Maybe the movie had just come out, and it was. I don't know all that language that's in there. I remember it as like a breakout award, and they got. I think it was a combo. Got me to do it, and then him to say yes because we had just worked together, which was like super amazing on his part.
You guys had lunch every day?
We had lunch
in
every
either
day.
your trailer or his?
I sat in his lap for lunch. Not in a dirty way.
No.
Just closer to feed him.
That's right.
Closer to from the fork to the mouth.
Didn't. Yeah, it just jumped off the page of research.
Yes.
Let's talk, if we can, please, about Larry Sanders, the 2-part Gary Shandling documentary that Judd Apatow devoted a couple of years of his life to try to organize.
Yes.
I don't know how much or any of it if you've seen. Walk me through as much of that as you can remember of that experience.
I have not seen it yet. I even at the mention of it, I get a little like kerfluffled.
I got to watch that.
I've heard from many comedians how brilliant and poignant and inspiring it is and how beautiful it is.
It is. Yeah.
I am having just an apprehension because I've had my own limited experience of the man. So I think it's a combo, preserving my own experience, and also I'm just not ready to go there because I feel like I'm going to bawl like a baby throughout I'm going to watch it soon. I just haven't been able to do it yet. But I think it's,
I'll tell you what, why don't you never watch it?
Why? What are you saying?
I'm saying don't feel pressure.
For real? I thought you were saying the opposite.
No.
You're being too sensitive and don't be so sensitive and watch it.
Don't put that pressure on yourself.
It's such
You
an
do
intense
have-
piece of he's gone through
Yes.
all those diaries, and I have my little experience of him.
Which is what I'm curious about.
I remember what he had seen a tape of me. Oh, this connects to the performance art. Okay, so one of the first television stand-up appearance, if you could call it stand-up, Jeremy Kramer, this all connects. My stand-up was, as I had said, random and didn't make any sense. And for the alt crowd that I hung out with, it was always like an inside joke. And people would laugh at sort of the character I presented and the
Right.
things, how they would fit together and not sure why you're laughing and just the oddness of it. So Janine Garofalo, I was at the height of her fame, and she had a show where one of those shows where she's hosting and people are coming on and doing stand-up. So my set was 7 to 10 minutes. I think it was, for some reason, 10 minutes, which is so long for TV, unless I'm making that up. And then I was telling Jeremy Kramer, like, I don't know what to do. Like, at one point, I'm holding up a piece of typing paper and it says different combs on it, and I've sketched different. I mean, like, it was really out there.
Sure.
And he almost instantly said, just start by saying you're a performance artist and the piece is that you just took ecstasy and then it's coming on as you're doing your set. He goes, all you're doing is framing it
Yeah.
to let the audience know it's okay, or that give them a context so that they feel comfortable laughing.
Right.
And that always escaped me because I just thought, well, of course they can laugh because it's by virtue of the fact that I'm on stage. But
Right.
people really need to know
Yes.
get their hand into what you're doing.
Because they want to know you're going to be okay.
Yes, which is so,
And if you let them in on that framework is brilliant
yes.
and so simple.
Yes. And also back to the nature of just standing on stage and performing. I thought it was enough to be like, I'm here performing. You should know I'm going to be okay. But that's the whole point with stand-up is, no, you're telling them a story. Anyway, so I do that, and that becomes my tape that my manager, Dave Rath. So Janine is leaving the Larry Sanders Show. They need a replacement. He plays basketball with Gary Shandling. And he was my manager, so he got him the tape. And I get called in to meet with Gary Shandling and John Rigi. And I believe there's a camera in the room, but there's no casting director. It's just the two of them, which is unheard of. And by and far the best way to get hired ever is either to just get hired because someone knows they want you and they know the vision and they trust the people that they're hiring, or they don't know you, but they're still going by instinct and it's just them and their head writer in the room, right? So I'm out of my mind. I go in there and I'm just like, hey, what's up? Like, I mean, it would take me another 15 years to realize that, like, casting directors don't hate me. Like, they're actually trying to help you. I would go into the room with so much defensiveness and so much, like, deer in the headlights, so much, like, here's the extra large ironic men's T-shirt that I got from the thrift store. You know what I mean? It's like, I squandered my 20s. Like, I was a hot woman. Like, I'm just like, hey, I'm not sure where I am right now. Just out of my mind, socially, professionally, but somehow made it work. Insecurity
is such a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Go in, but yet somehow I'm able to have some sort of vulnerability or genuine presence and drive to do it, right? Conscious enough to do it, to sort of pull it off. So I get in there, and was the perfect combination, perfect storm for this experience. And it was the two of them looking at each other, and Gary was doing most of the talking, and he's, what's going on with you? And nothing. What's going on with you? And then the two of us back and forth like that, laughing.
Yeah.
Who knows why? Laughing at each other, laughing with each other. No material.
Nope.
Just about 12 minutes of that. Leave. Get the part.
Wow. Wow.
So good.
Yeah. So good. So perfect.
And then there was the other really pointed example, I'll tell you really quick, of Gary Shandling to me. Well, there's two things that popped in my mind. One was Nicolette Sheridan was on the show, and we were in the hair and makeup trailer. Again, I'm so green. I don't know what the hell's going on, but he's like joking with her, but she doesn't know that he's joking. So whatever he's saying, he's doing it for my benefit. And he's eye contact with me out of the corner of his eye, like, you know, whatever he's saying to her, like, she thinks in earnest, and he's looking back at me like, get a load of this one. And I'm cracking up just knowing that he's doing it for me. So that was special. I don't even remember what it was. Then on set, I remember because it was in the bullpen. I played the booker, replacing Janine's part, walking into like the little kitchenette, the workplace, getting the cup of coffee, how conversations happen with that. And what I don't remember the specific dialogue. Whatever he says to me, I answer him as scripted. We're rolling, camera's rolling, and he stops and he goes, hold on. What are you thinking right now? And I go, and I repeat whatever the dialogue is. Yeah, but what are you thinking? And he totally catches me having no subtext and having no intention in my acting.
Yeah.
Because everything I did was like purely instinct, and I was a good enough performer and interesting enough, but I had no knowledge of how you would approach of an inner life, of a motivation, of a point to the scene. Yeah. And he called it out. And from that moment forth, that was all I needed. I was like, oh shit. Like that's what this is all about, right? That's the whole point of doing any of it. That you know what's going on and you know what's driving it. Yeah. Even if you are not the driving force in the scene.
Right.
So it was him in that moment just showing me what subtext was and calling me out on the fact that I had not made any choice.
Right. Yeah. Well, that really was it.
Yes. He knew it and he saw it and he cared.
Right.
And I wasn't fired. I was allowed to come back.
He wasn't calling you out. It was his way
of, it was weird because then he would joke around about being mean to me because, it'd be like, oh, well, you prefer to be yelled at. Like, am I going to have to yell at you again type of thing? But he was the best at that type of humor that came from the character.
Right. Yeah.
That's what serviced the joke, not the other way around. The joke coming first and you trying to fit it into the character, right?
Right. Yeah. Have you had, I don't imagine you have, had an experience like that with the creator and lead of anything, of a show or a movie or anything.
No.
Because he was so one of a kind, coming from a writer's standpoint first.
Yes.
Who learned to act himself.
Yeah.
And then became such a student, a ferocious student of what that is and what it means to just be present.
Yes.
Which is the only,
really special.
The only instinct I've ever had was to...
Excuse me. By the way, you're the best thing in Benjamin.
Well, it's very kind of you to say that.
Especially your scenes with me.
There we go.
By the pool.
Yep.
With the flamingo.
Oh, is that scene in the movie?
No, I don't know. I don't remember.
You don't know?
No, the scene is there. The flamingo, that's what I don't know if
before we start shooting.
It's actually very close to as scripted.
Uh-huh.
But I don't remember if the flamingo was there or not.
By the way I behaved when I saw the flamingo, I can't imagine the flamingos in the movie. No, we were going to do this kind of quiet scene in a movie that's not quiet. Just you and me sitting on the edge of the pool talking about real things, but having our own little funniness also. But it is a quiet for these two characters as the audience attempts to get to know anyone in this film. We get to set, and there's a giant
set dressing
inflated. I'm going to say 5 feet in any direction. Sized flamingo floating in the pool.
Yes,
and I
no legs, which is the
kind of what
the biggest characteristic of the flamingo. Yeah. You're going to go ahead and cut those off and make a flamingo raft. So right away, I'm offended as an animal rights activist.
Don't ask me to imagine the flamingo's leg dangling in the water.
Yeah, don't do that.
Underneath it.
Don't do that.
Yeah. You've taken the legs out from under the flamingo, the scene, and myself. But I was just instantly aware that there's no way anyone will be looking at anything other than the flamingo in the scene if it appears in the film. And that was my reason for saying, can we lose the flamingo?
Well, yes, the sheer size of it. If
it's bigger than us.
Yes, bigger than both of us.
Bigger than us. And yeah.
It should have been the wipe when we go to make out and we fall out of frame, and then the flamingo goes. You're never done. You're never done. Let's go back and film it again.
This is why some directors go back and do reshoots until the end of time.
And then it would be the pink flamingo, and it would go into a swirl and just bing, disappear. In a bubble. I know. It's a gift I have.
Are you still doing art?
Directing? No, I'm not. I threw away a lot of half-done paintings.
Because?
It's not relaxing for me. It's another set of creative problems.
Oh, wow.
I mean problems in the best sense of the word.
Sure.
But I'm very busy performing and slowly writing, ever so slowly. So it just goes on the back burner, and then it haunts me. Like, why haven't you finished me or looked at me? And so I'll get back to it someday.
Why do you hate us?
But I did do a backdrop for my son's school fair, which was a Western
wagons.
Western wagon? No
wagons?
Stop it. No, I think there was a wagon in there. A ghost town, a city block. And so, I just Googled some random pictures and just went
What
went
kind
to
of a
town
space
on it.
are we dealing with?
Probably is a little bit bigger than this table.
Okay,
Twice the size of this table, maybe.
This is an audio show.
Well,
So-
people can imagine a table of their choice. Does it really matter? Does anyone really care how big my thing was?
Well, I do. I asked the question.
Well, you can see the table, can't you? If you care, they care.
You're saying
I go down a dark road. I go down a dark
this
road. Everybody cares.
mural you were
Okay.
doing was only 8 to 10 feet wide?
Only? That's a big painting.
Well,
it took me like over a week. It's the size of a large...
That's what I wanted you to do right there. I wanted you to defend the
Thank you
amount
for-
of work that you did to make this magic happen.
Thank you for teaching me
Well, it's one of
how to believe in myself.
that's our show for today. I actually only have a couple things. I just want to clear up about your time you spent in prison.
I wish.
Did you ever get thrown into the hoosegow for any reason? Falsely accused or otherwise? I adore Kiefer Sutherland. I worked with him on, I think, the only film he directed, Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And
How have we not talked about that already?
I know. It's but also that Canadian, but niceties but so well. What is well, you know what? I'm not going to search for the perfect word. I'm just going to dance around it.
Okay.
Because I'm at a loss. Because he was so considerate, in my experience, of not the niceties, but the polite. The word polite kept overshadowing behavioral situations that I just felt like, was this beaten into this poor child to be this polite?
And he was the director on that.
Yeah.
So I imagine he would have a great respect for all the aspects of
right.
all departments.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very steeped in the whole process
Right.
of it.
That was your experience?
Yes.
Also going through the research.
It was a lesson in, I'll just finish, but instead of just saying I want to answer yes, it was a lesson from him also of how to star in a show and drive that and what that meant to be up close to somebody who had that pressure and how they dealt with it and how he in little ways and maybe some bigger ways that I wasn't privy to in the writer's room, but in little ways how he would change the tempo of it and the feel of it and have the confidence to sort of push it in that direction, which I think made a lot of difference in that show. There's very few people that could play that role and be believable, but also get away with, it's not a sense of humor, but he's very serious, but he's not so serious that he realizes that there's certain things that have to be fudged for the believability to drive it forward.
Right.
To be that Jack Bauer character that you could believe in, like, he's the hero, black or white.
Yeah.
If you took it too seriously, it would kind of fall apart. But
Right.
there are those areas where it's bigger than life that he
It was tricky.
balanced that where it echoed current events, but also had this crazy, like, he's the guy who's going to, keep us all alive, which is a hard thing to bridge, to make that guy believable, but also fantastical.
It's an impossible thing to bridge, actually. That was the alchemy of that show,
Yes.
in a sense, that you just described perfectly. Really. Because when you're working on it, you see behind the curtain.
Yes.
And I'm sure you also have been a part of projects where that was not the case, where the lead didn't either for whatever reasons wasn't suited, wasn't ready, or wasn't emotionally all in
Yeah.
to want to make a difference in everyone. And when you're around that, like Gary Shandling also.
Yes. That was very well said. Because
Yeah.
there are all those aspects that sometimes you take for granted or you don't understand everything that goes into it. And you could just look at them and be like, why are they being a dick? But there are all those components that sort of have to be right to a certain degree to make it work.
Yeah. The amount of pressure.
Which is weird because sometimes you can look at it and go, oh, that's the easiest job in the world. But it's made up of all those different things.
Yeah. And also a level of how much do you really give a shit about this? So while I'm, suggesting that I get a job and then immediately look at the shooting schedule and try to figure out how little work I can do, the other side of that is acutely aware of all the moving parts and want very much to make it all go as smoothly as possible with whatever participation I have. That's at the forefront of when I get to work.
Yes. And also specifically if you are an actor who has a part, you do have to be exactly that. You do have to have the ability to sort of turn it off when it's not your job and then specifically make everything about your job the best that it can be.
Yeah.
So it might be different if you were also producing, directing, and needed to have a larger scope.
Do you have those desires to write and direct something?
I do. I do.
Excellent. That I will spend the next several times we converse prodding and
please do.
Yeah. Because you have to drive yourself to the place where you do it.
That's the part that makes me
tricky.
Really nervous.
It's tricky, and also you don't have to be in a hurry to get there. You just have to stay at it. Because it's 11 times more enjoyable, rewarding, than you could possibly anticipate or dread, depending on your personality. It's unbelievable. I put it off forever, and then I immediately started kicking myself in the ass that I didn't start sooner. It's ridiculous. In the same way that you created your path into art, the same way you created your path to get on stage and create an original voice, it's all of those instincts that have been honed for the last several decades now, put to use in every way, and every day is another challenge of how to. I'm going to bug you.
You're inspiring.
I'm going to bug you a lot about this.
And scaring me.
That's what I do. All right, so you've done super well on part 1. I can't wait to begin part 2. I will schedule it as based on your life, but you've put in your time. It's now time for the last couple of segments. As Ryan, our engineer, has sat patiently, it's time now for Ask Kevin. You're allowed to ask me any question, sincere, silly, or neither.
Have you ever wished that you were part of the Rat Pack?
I'm not.
Uh-oh.
Shit.
Maybe there's a rephrase of the question. Do you see yourself as part of the Rat Pack?
Yes.
Okay, that's already a given. All right, that was a bad question.
No, it isn't. There are no bad questions in Ask Kevin.
When you...
what part of the Rat Pack do you think that I think I belong in?
You know what?
Because it's... this is about me?
Okay, go on.
because this is and it could be fun. You have a sense that I wish I were in the Rat Pack. I'm guessing is behind the question. No, because I do and did.
Yes, of course you do and did.
The idea that 4 or 5 friends who make each other laugh could then take over a Las Vegas showroom.
Yeah.
And
Unreal.
say, fuck it, let's just get up there and fuck off, and people will go nuts while we're there doing a movie. I was stuck in Las Vegas for 20 weeks because I'm in the movie casino for 9 minutes. And the way Marty needs to work is every morning he may wake up and want to change the schedule and what he wants to do. So I never spoke to the second AD about getting me out early.
Yes.
But I couldn't. I was stuck there for 20 weeks.
By the way, what is your take on that approach?
Don't care for it.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of chaos. So
But even if you're Scorsese, do you have to swallow that pill and say it's him? So
yes,
okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No.
While at the same time, kind of feeling like it's bullshit.
Plotting his death.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Couldn't believe this was happening. My sheer fortune and good luck that I was a part of it. And yet, you guys need another take? Really? Because I was pretty much done at 3, and we're on 31.
Yeah.
So what's happening?
Yes.
Do you and Bob think the next thing's going to be more interesting? I'm there 20 weeks. I'm in the movie 9 minutes. I got to be ready every day. So I say I call my stand-up agent and say, book me on the fucking Strip, opening up for somebody. This is 1994. Who's on? Book me on the Strip. I end up opening up for the Four Tops at the Desert Inn.
What?
Yep. And Rickles, who's my favorite thing, part of the experience of working on Casino, in the hair and makeup truck, going to work on Casino, says, "Hey, kid, saw your name on the marquee in the drive-in." And then he starts doing this motion that backup singers do where they circle their fists around as part of a dance move. And he says, "Saw your name on the marquee. Very impressive. I'm going to be with Frank all summer. Let me know if you need tickets." Greatest ever.
Whoa.
So it in that moment, it made me think about the chasm between that little gig I had pulled off and what they used to do, those guys.
But that little gig is still kind of a big gig.
Oh, it was incredibly fun. It was incredibly fun.
To be able to, I mean, that's already that you can just call your agent and then be opening for the Four Tops is unreal. But yes, and then out of the stratosphere, what would that mean? Being the headliner?
But with your friends, that was the thing that grabbed me about the Rat Pack experience was, let's just grab some pals and go fuck off on stage for an hour and a half and let people enjoy themselves. That sounds exciting. And now it's time for Kevin's pop quiz. Between 5 and 15 possible points for each of these 3 questions, and once the final score is tabulated, it will be posted on our website along with the current standing of the top 100. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Question number 1. Dave Koechner or Rob Riggle?
Oh, I thought you were giving yourself a test.
Interesting.
So now I have to just say one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Riggle.
Correct. Question number 2. Carl Weathers or the weather in Carlsbad?
Repeat the question, please.
Correct. And the last question, Keith?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Very well done. Mary Lynn, I'm so damn excited that
thanks for having me.
That you carved out some time for us today. Son is at school?
He's at school. I got to hit Ralph's after this.
What happens at Rafe's? That's what we call it.
You get some
lunch?
Ground beef. No, for dinner.
Oh,
you
sure.
Get the house stocked for the after-school snack for the lunch tomorrow. We're bone dry.
Okay.
Got to stock it
up.
Got
to stock it up.
Get some bread, some OJ, some milk, some peanut butter. You need anything?
Bananas.
Okay.
Yeah. Big fan of the potassium available.
Yes.
In the banana.
Peel it.
My mom told me when I was a kid, when I asked if I could have a second banana, an hour later, she said, no. I said, why? She said, you'll get constipated. I believed her for 42 years, mentioned it to Jamie, and Jamie said she was being stingy with the bananas.
Wow.
There's nothing that happens if you eat 2 bananas in a day.
That's real love.
Yeah, right?
No more stinginess with the bananas.
No.
We're in a new place in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have 3 if you want.
Go nuts.
Go bananas.
Go bananas. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, thank you so very much. Thank you to the fine folks at Earwolf. Thank you to Corey Levin on the post-production. And our show brought to you today by the letter F. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.